Hello, 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 all of you beautiful nerds from around the world, and happy Star Wars Sunday to you if you're catching this live or if you're checking it out on the replay later today on Sunday. If you're watching this way later in the future, this is an episode of Fan Chats Live. This is one of these things we do here on the channel where I just sit back casually chat with you guys about some cool stuff. We do a lot of Q&A, which we will get right into in just a minute. So, the TLDR, this video might not be for you. If you're watching this on the replay and you don't like long form, you don't like super casual things, you know what I mean? People sending in questions and the conversation going in different directions. This might not be the video for you. I have to start saying that more because other people that are new here get mad. So maybe go check out another edited video. That might be more of your thing. What's up, everybody? I see you coming into the chat. Good morning. I guess it's afternoon where I'm at, technically. And, man, today I want to talk, you see it in the thumbnail, you see it on the title. I want to talk about Anakin Skywalker, Darth Vader himself. And I want to talk about the possibilities of that character being in Star Wars Episode 9. What's up, everybody? I see you. I see you coming in there. Darth Vader? Yeah, Darth Vader, indeed. He's the lesser-known uncle of Anakin. You know what I mean? There is actually, believe it or not, guys, there is some evidence out there, relatively new evidence, actually, that we will be seeing Mr. Hayden Christensen in Star Wars Episode 9. By the way, a couple of show notes, things that I just want to kind of get to. As more and more people come into the chat. Guys, so myself and a team of people are going to be at Star Wars Celebration in just a couple weeks here, checking out all the cool Star Wars things over in Chicago. If you've never been to a Star Wars Celebration, they are amazing. But my point is, if there's some stuff you want us to look into, if there is some stuff that you want us to cover for sure, if there's some kind of content you want us to do for sure, guys, please let me know in the next couple of weeks as I start to plan stuff out. For now, I'm thinking a lot of recaps, a lot of fan chats live where like me and the team will be there talking with you guys, talking about some of the things that we've seen, some of the things that we've heard, hopefully grab some other YouTubers, grab some other people, bring them in. And do some content there. But please let me know. Email me at thedenofnerds@gmail.com. Hit me up on Twitter. Whatever you got to do, let me know. Kate says everything. Well, we're going to try, Kate. It is pretty crazy. It is crazy. What's up, Marvel Bros? Hannah's in the house. If anybody would be able to convince Hayden to come back, I think JJ would be the guy to do it. We're going to talk about that, actually, Hannah. Interesting things to say about that. What is up? Yeah. Okay, so let me get into some of this stuff because this is pretty cool. So the first question I want to ask to you guys is, and please let me know in the chat, and I'll be checking what people are saying as we move forward here. But I want to know, what do you guys think ultimately about putting Anakin in Star Wars Episode 9? Would you be personally upset if Episode 9 has Anakin Skywalker and or Darth Vader? And really, I think what I'm asking is the Anakin thing, because it's definitely possible we see Vader in there. I mean, we'll probably see the helmet. Vader will be alluded to. But would you guys be upset if Anakin Skywalker as a Force ghost or whatever has some serious screen time or at least a couple of scenes in Star Wars Episode 9? Let me know in the chat. Would you be upset about this? And as I watch your results coming in, Peter says, of course not, it would be closure. Let me then talk about some of this evidence here. As long as George isn't writing the dialogue, I'm all for it, Joe says. Oh, man, that's hilarious. Girls with Sabers, what's up? David says in a certain way that he'd be good with it. I'd be upset if he isn't in it. I would love to see it again. Why is JJ trying to ruin Star Wars further by bringing in Hayden Christensen? Dude can't act his way out of a wet paper bag, Mark says. Okay, so that's interesting because I expected at least some people to have that type of reaction. So I want to just know, please let me know in the chat. What do you guys think about that? We'll get into all that. So here's the thing. I think it might happen here. And there's a couple of different reasons why. I think for me, the main reason that I think this will happen has to do with the idea of closing off the Skywalker saga. This idea of closure to the Skywalker saga, right? So none of us particularly know what that means exactly. We can speculate about it. We have such little information about what it actually means. We will get our first big taste of information about that on Friday, April 12th, during the episode 9 panel, right? And to me, I've always sort of said that this story started with Anakin. It has a lot to do with Anakin and Anakin's children, and ultimately Anakin's grandchild, who is, Kylo Ren. Oh, yes, and Girls with Sabers is completely right. If you guys could smash that like button, that would be absolutely amazing. Interesting stuff being said in the chat, too, about whether or not JJ could write good dialogue for him. But in either case, to me, it just seems like you can't necessarily end the Skywalker saga without having the other Skywalkers in it. And so I imagine some Luke stuff. I imagine some Hayden stuff. In fact, I had this idea. Let me know what you guys think about this. If they do this for the episode 9 panel, I think it could be absolutely legendary and be something that would really, really impress a lot of people and be really cool. Right now, the only people that are slated for that panel are Kathy Kennedy and J.J. Abrams. And not that that wouldn't be cool, because that would be cool, and it's going to be cool. But they didn't announce George for the 40th anniversary panel. What I mean is 2 years ago at Star Wars Celebration, it was the 40th anniversary of Star Wars. When we went in there and we watched this panel, there were rumors that maybe George was going to show up, but at that point, there was nothing announced. So nothing officially announced had George Lucas being there for the panel. He literally was like one of the first people they bring out. Essentially, the whole 40-year anniversary panel was basically moderated and told by George Lucas, and different people kept coming out and like talking with him. It was amazing. It was absolutely incredible. And it's online too if you haven't seen it. Point being, what I want to see is them to bring out them Skywalker boys. Okay? So you bring out Hayden, you bring out Mark Hamill, and you bring out Adam Driver. Adam Driver, to my knowledge, has never been to a Star Wars Celebration. He was certainly not at the one that I was at 2 years ago. So imagine that, and let me know what you think about this in the chat. Imagine Anakin Skywalker, Luke Skywalker, and Ben Solo all sitting on a couch, JJ there, and them talking about the Skywalker saga and ending the Skywalker saga. And ultimately, if they found a way to explain what this means, but leaving it sort of ambiguous, I think sort of explaining that, yeah, it all has to do with like Anakin. There's this thing, the Skywalkers are special. Perhaps there's something there we don't know about, blah, blah, blah. Because you don't want to obviously ruin it. I see some people saying that they agree. You don't want to ruin it, but I think you need to contextualize what that means for ending the Skywalker saga, right? So yeah, we got some people are pretty pumped. Like Kate and Hannah seem to like it. Adam is doing Burn This in NYC right now. I'm not sure he can get there until Sunday. Oh, Burn the Show? Is that Broadway or something like that? Yeah. I mean, man, if they could pull that off, that would be absolutely incredible. Yeah. Exactly. Well, you know what? They might just have to cancel shows that day. I'll go to I'll send some emails. We're shutting that down. Never since been right. People like you have. Oh, Timmy Friday. Oh man, Timmy Friday. Thanks so much. Guess what? You're gone forever. Yeah, no, I'm gonna have to send some emails over there. We're shutting it down. So that's what I'm hoping. But in either case, on Friday, that's when we're gonna get our first. That's when we're gonna get our first little taste of Star Wars Episode 9. Now, we're all damn sure. They're all damn sure that is going to be when we get the trailer, right? It's probably going to be where we get the title. But as I said, I think that we definitely need to get context for what this ending of the Skywalker saga means in general. So now let's go over this evidence. I want to talk about this evidence real quick, and then we'll get into straight Q&A, baby. Okay, so obviously, have you guys heard about the shareholder footage, the footage that was shown to the shareholders? This is the same day that they were shown stuff for Avengers Endgame. So in that footage, which really there's not a lot there. Like, I didn't even cover it. You know what I mean? Like, I didn't even cover it because I was like, man, there's just really not much here. Like, the way, especially the way the way the guy described it, it was like, okay, ships, battle run, Leia. You know what I mean? Like, it's just okay. I see what you're saying. Oh, Michael Davies for sure. If you don't have haters, man, you're not doing it right. well, Peter, I had two cups. I had a cup with that traditional coffee, and then I had another cup for in case some a-hole like Timmy Buttface, whatever his name was, came into the chat. And not to give him too much attention, but we reached for the other one. Yo, Wawa coffee is the best. Although I like Tim Hortons a lot myself, too. But anyways, guys, in the footage that was shown, they had a scene with Vader's helmet in an all-white room. Okay? Now, right off the bat here, what to me is just like, yo, this is crazy. Actually, I've got both my Den of Nerds mugs are just upstairs. Girls with Sabers. I just left them up there. But yeah, this Vader, that means he probably moved the Vader helmet. Right? Oh, Stuart, I'm in Philly, man. Oh, I'm in Philly. So, this idea, so what I'm imagining in my head is like, okay, big boy Ben Solo is now in charge of everything. He can move out of his old room. You know what I mean? He gets Snoke's digs now, right? That's his ship. I just like I want to see a scene with him like grabbing Hux and be like, look at me. Look at me. I am the supreme leader now. And so he's probably moving out his grandfather because he had that like thing of ash of all his victims that he burned, right? And then he puts the helmet in the ash and all that. So he's probably moving that into this all white room. But even that shot sort of evokes all of these ideas and these feelings of him once again convening with the mask. And remember, he so desperately wanted his grandfather to show him the power of the dark side. But he says something really weird there. He says, "Show me again," implying that he had been shown before by Anakin. Now, my speculative brain thinks that maybe that was Snoke, right, messing with him or whatever. Yeah, it's strange things that are afoot. But in either case, that footage shown to the shareholders and the fact that you see that Vader helmet there is the first little sign to me that's like, man, something's going on with Vader. Something's going on with Anakin. Now, this next one is actually technically, I mean, it's like rumor-esque, but it's kind of possibly spoilery. I should probably put that out there. If this indeed ends up happening, it will sort of spoil a little bit of the plot for you for Star Wars Episode 9. So, oh, you're stuck in Ohio? Yeah, man. I'm actually not from Philly. I do like the Philly teams, but I'm actually not from Philly. But yeah, go Birds. And the Sixers are looking mighty fine as well. Maybe he could add Snoke's ashes to his pile. Oh my god, that's amazing. That's brutal. I wish I could like gild that or something. Man, that's well done. Well done. We have seen in the Vader comics that relics and masks can possess the Sith who own the moment as an example of this. Absolutely. Absolutely. Okay, so I'm just gonna get into this stuff here, guys. Sorry, this is like slight spoiler stuff. I hope nobody gets stuff ruined for them for this. Okay, so there's a rumor right now about this MacGuffin in Star Wars Episode 9. Have you heard about this? Do you guys know about this? You heard about this? You know about this? There's supposedly a MacGuffin that the plot centers around in Star Wars Episode 9. Now we are hearing, and this literally just came out. It's on Reddit. Holy cow, Christina Paul in the building. It's been a while, Christina. How are you? That this MacGuffin, there's a big rumor right now that this MacGuffin could actually be the memories of C-3PO. That there's something to do with what C-3PO remembers that is potentially very, very important in the film somehow, some way. And I don't know what that is. Like I can't imagine what that is, but what does C-3PO potentially have? What does C-3PO have potentially buried away in his memory banks that could be central to the plot? Think about it. Think about it. Think about it. Explain what a MacGuffin is. Okay, so here's what a MacGuffin is. Let's take it back just a second here. So a MacGuffin is basically a plot device that is used, and it's mysterious and like valuable. So like a good example is in Pulp Fiction, the briefcase. The briefcase in Pulp Fiction is the MacGuffin. So you have no idea what's in that frickin' briefcase as a member of the audience. Everybody wants it. It drives the plot. It drives the plot. And so an example of a MacGuffin in Star Wars could be there's this thing. We know of it. We don't know exactly what it is. It's a data file on planet something or other. If the First Order gets to it, it is said to be able to eliminate us once and for all. Or we must get to this thing before the First Order, blah, blah, blah. That's a MacGuffin. So it could be any number of things. But the thing is, if the MacGuffin ends up being C-3PO's memories, what that implies is that his memories of Anakin, his memories of Anakin and Padme, his memories of name your event connected to Anakin, connected to Luke, all the original trilogy stuff. Something within those memory banks is valuable to one of the members of these sides and to both members of them. So perhaps it's the knowledge that Anakin Skywalker was Vader, even though we think some people like know that in the galaxy. It's still kind of weird. Like we don't know for sure, right? Maybe it's something to do with Padme. Maybe it's something to do with the Skywalker. Look, we don't know exactly, but we know that C-3PO was connected to Anakin. Anakin built C-3PO. Do you see what I'm saying? See, that's the thing. Okay, Charles Fort, very good question. But wouldn't they disappear when his memory was wiped? Yeah, for sure. Definitely. He had his memory wiped. Absolutely, he had his memory wiped. But we don't, I mean, first of all, it's fantasy, but we don't really know what that means exactly. It could have some weird backup file. You know what I mean? Some weird backup data. It could have been wiped, not permanently. Maybe there's a way to unwipe it. I don't know. Yes, his memories were wiped, but there's a multitude of ways that they could end up doing that. You know what I mean? A multitude of ways. Hidden backup drive. R2-D2 never had his memories wiped. Yeah, so okay, let's just move on for a second here. Basically, guys, that kind of to me really, really seems like we're talking about some Anakin stuff. Do you know what I mean? And it is considered controversial, exactly. So could this be considered controversial as the rumor has stated? Yeah, depending on what the memory is, right, and how it plays into the overall plot. R2-D2 could also be a MacGuffin. He could also be a McMuffin. Okay, there's a couple other things I want to touch on, and then we'll get into Q&A. The art, there was a guy, I believe he worked on Star Wars Episode 9, and he had a tweet come out that literally said something to the effect of, if you're looking for what to expect in Star Wars Episode 9, go back and look at some of the early art concepts for The Force Awakens. There's some really crazy stuff going on there. And this, I don't know if you guys remember, this was a couple months ago when this guy said this. It literally made people believe that Force Ghost, that half Anakin, half Vader Force Ghost, was going to be showing up in Star Wars Episode 9. Okay? Now, I don't know if it means that exactly, but holy cow, guys. You know what I mean? Like, look at, to me, that sounds absolutely amazing. And then the last thing I want to say here is that Hayden Christensen has been confirmed for Star Wars Celebration this year. So Hayden Christensen is coming back, okay? Now, 2 years ago, Hayden Christensen came out with Ian McDiarmid and did just an absolutely amazing, like 15-minute session with George Lucas talking about the prequels and all these different things. The fans embrace Hayden, and this is why I often talk about how like the sequel trilogy hate will fade and we'll get to a better place with it, down the line. It's the same thing that happened with the prequels. A lot of people down on the prequels, bummed on the prequels, down. At Star Wars Celebration 2 years ago, people were so freaking pumped to see Hayden Christensen. People were so pumped to see him. And it's like, we can sort of meme him now. The Sands and prequel memes are so freaking huge, and it's like, it's a whole different thing, man. It's a whole different game. And we'll get there. We'll get there with the sequel trilogy as well. But point is, you start to add up all of those little things that I just talked about, and I don't think it's crazy to think that there's some legit evidence to suggest. Oh, I'm like shaking my camera all over. Sorry about that. But there's like some legitimate things that suggest that Hayden Christensen could be in Star Wars Episode 9. So that's just kind of the evidence. Now let's roll into some casual Q&A, guys. Drop those questions. I'll get to as many questions as I can. If you want to guarantee your question gets asked, drop a super chat in. It helps the channel out, supports the channel, supports me, and I'll be able to pin your comment and sort of read it in full glory. So, Cortex Zero says, I think he's in it. Man, I think he's in it too. And I think it would be bold, bro. Bold. I hope we see a conversation between young Luke and Force Ghost Anakin. I think the MacGuffin is a third Death Star Gideon somewhere near completion. And I hope not. I hope it's not another. Hope it's not another Death Star. I don't think that would be that cool. Oh snap! Girls with Sabers coming in hot with the super chat, $5. Says drop a super chat if you can and like the stream. Yes, thank you. If you could like the stream, guys, that'd be real cute. Look, YouTube's weird, man. There's some weird stuff going on this platform. If you could like the stream, that would be terrific. And if you don't like the stream, if you hit like, that would be terrific as well. I want Ben and Anakin to have a conversation. Definitely. I really want Ben, Luke, and Anakin to have a conversation. I think that would be really cool, man. I think that would be really cool. What Kylo might mean by wanting to finish what Anakin and Vader started is learning how to bring people back from the dead. Han and Snoke were holding him back from completing his mission. Now he's free. You know what? That would be really cool, actually. That would be really, really cool. If it was all about bringing people back from the dead, I mean, like I'd be down with that. That'd be really, really sweet. What would happen if Rey met Force Ghost Anakin? So that would be really interesting as well. Like if Rey met Anakin, I'd be just as down with that. Okay, and I was having this conversation with some people the other day, where it's like, check this out. Remember when Obi-Wan says, if you go to face Vader, I cannot interfere? There might be something to this idea that Force ghosts cannot manifest themselves around dark side users. So maybe he can't show up to Ben, and he can only show up to Rey. And then what if Anakin has a message for Ben that Rey ends up having to tell? Do you know what I mean? Holy cow, Kate coming in hot with the $30 super chat. How can I give her that money back? Hey, dude, I missed hanging out with everyone. Hope you've been well. Finger guns. Question, which unconfirmed leak so far do you really, really wish would be real? Kate, we missed you. Thank you so much. You are the best. And also, you missed this too, but we're going to be at Star Wars Celebration. And you better let me know what kind of stuff you want me to check out. And if you want me to pick you up anything. And as far as your question, which unconfirmed leak do you really, really want to be true? I mean, technically for me, it's the Force Child. And I think that, obviously that's kind of a selfish thing, right? Because, like, it's just people were so mean to me when I came up with that theory. You know what I mean? People were so mean to me. So I think for just a little bit of vindication, I would like the Force Child to be true. That for me would be great. I think that would be really cool. Um, I tell you, so I really do think that we're getting Kylo Ren's mask. I mean, I think that's happening with the crackles and all that. I think that's totally cool. I really want Knights of Ren and like other Force users other than Rey and Kylo. So I really, really want that. So that, I guess, is my answer. Josh, please don't try to get. Oh, actually, funny thing about Patreon. We'll talk about it later, but you might not even have that opportunity. I might be. I think I'm killing that for at least a little bit. You know how all Star Wars movies end with musical climax? Do you think that Episode 9 should end with subtle music as the screen rolls to black? No. And let me answer your question in a different sort of way. I do not think that Episode 9 should end in an ambiguous way. If you're going to end the Skywalker saga, I really hope you end the Skywalker saga. Like, end the Skywalker saga. End it. But you can still have an epilogue. Like, you don't end the galaxy, you don't end the universe. One of the best epilogues ever was Rebels. So Rebels had an incredible ending and a great epilogue. It ties things up. It ends things. Rebels has ended. You see where people go. You see how things tie together. And yet, there are threads and certain characters that are still left open-ended. Their journey can continue on. So that's what I hope for Episode 9. But no, I do not want subtle music fade to black, because like what that implies to me is a non-conclusive ending. And I don't want that. I don't want it. I want the good stuff, man. I want the good stuff. Who do you think will be at the Episode 9 panel at Celebration? Will some of the new actors like Carrie and Matt Smith be there, or would that be too spoilery? Okay, so a couple of different things. From what I understand from people that I've talked to, none of the main cast is going to be there. So, you know, earlier I had said it would be great if Adam Driver would be there. They literally said none of the main cast is going to be there. Now, there's all sorts of things that can happen last minute and stuff like that. And sometimes for these panels, they'll even fly people in. I believe that Daisy Ridley was only there for the one day 2 years ago, where she flew in, and John Boyega as well. And John Boyega was shooting a film at the time, and he flew in for it. So that potentially could happen, but I have heard from people at Reed Pop that nobody from the main cast is going to be there. There's a rumor that Billy D will show up, that Billy D. Williams will show up. And also, they do some really cool stuff where they'll have people send in videos. So it was a little bit different than, like, for the 40th. Like, the 40th anniversary was such a big deal and such a crazy panel. You had, like, all sorts of people sending in videos, which was really, really cool. So maybe, potentially, you get some of that, but it would all have to be Episode 9 related, right? So who knows? But yeah, as far as like people to expect, I don't know if it's just gonna be JJ. Like, I hope not. I hope they bring some stuff out. But yeah, that's unfortunately that's all I can say. Being this is the last episode in the saga, do you think this one will be packed with heavy emotion? Malcolm Brooks. Absolutely. I think this is going to be packed with heavy emotion, particularly because of Carrie Fisher. So this is the send-off for the Skywalkers. This is the send-off for Leia. Leia passed. They've spent a lot of time, money, and energy, and money to give a proper send-off to the Princess Leia character. So that's going to be emotional. You know what I mean? That's going to be incredibly emotional. So there's also rumors that that they're going to like destroy the Falcon, that they're going to do a lot of stuff, like end stuff. Maybe the droids are gone forever. There's a lot of stuff. A lot of stuff. I'm curious how many of those kids on Canto Bight are force sensitive. Me too, man. I wonder. I wonder. I'm also curious, how would they be able to do both Vader and Anakin? Yeah, so they technically can't, right? I mean, they can't do Vader and Anakin. Like Anakin, here's the thing. So there's certain things you can't do. So Anakin was saved. Okay? Luke saved Anakin Skywalker. He turned back to the light at the very last minute. He destroys the Emperor, destroys the last Sith, including himself, and helps to restore balance, okay? So you can't undo that. So Vader can't be around. However, Vader's obviously around as far as a thing that people are aware of. I mean, Han says he's got too much Vader in him. They've got the Vader helmet. Ben Solo worships Vader. Vader is very much still a part of the film series. So Vader as an entity still exists and is this thing that really hangs over everybody's heads. But the character, the Force Ghost, the being, is no longer Vader. That's Anakin. So, yeah, you can't have them both at the same time, but they can both be in the film, if that makes sense. Could the Force be making more Force users in the galaxy? Old Republic had a lot of them. Yeah, so some people believe that, Stephanie. So some people believe that, yeah, that's what's going on and that the Force is awakening and a lot of these other people are going to be popping up that are Force sensitive. And that could very well be the case. I've always said that's a good way for them to go. Like that they should be pumping in more people that have Force abilities, because I think you just want more lightsabers, you want more Force stuff. The Force is so freaking cool. Like I don't understand why it's like this hidden, like secretive, weird thing. Maybe that's prequel, like worry or something. But yeah. Do you think Disney will be crazy enough for a Star Wars MCU crossover? No. Flicktalk says, I don't want to see Anakin at all. To me, seeing him would be sending a message like, hey, you can be super evil and kill a bunch of people, but if you come to the light side at the end, you can hang. I mean, that's literally that's literally the point. Oh, Sir Nerdalot. Holy cow. Dude, how'd you get such a cool name? For the $5 super chat. Thanks for coming in. Could this MacGuffin be tied to Snoke's origin story or Knights of Ren? Yes, it could be. And originally, that's maybe what I thought it was going to be. But if it's tied to C-3PO's memories, then it's like, man, that so weird. Like then it's probably not that, right? Unless there was something like Anakin was doing. Like, what if like Anakin was doing all this stuff that we saw that we didn't see that was like off screen, and the MacGuffin is C-3PO's memories of this elaborate like scheme or plan by Anakin or something. You know what I mean? That's the only way that it could be. And if that plan indeed would become the Knights of Ren or something like that, that's the only way. Like that series of events would go down. If it has to do with C-3PO, I think it has more to do with like Padme and Anakin, and perhaps it's this thing where most of the galaxy does not actually know or cannot actually confirm that Anakin Skywalker was a decent dude and was manipulated by like a Sith Lord and sort of used for bad. And perhaps there's still like a stigma that the Jedi are bad and the galaxy does not want the Jedi to come back. And maybe if the truth came out there about that, people would be like, all right, yeah, let's start that whole Jedi thing up again. So. There is an old Imperial base on Jakku. Everyone needs to read Rey's survival guide. We're going back to Jakku. Yeah, it's very possible. I mean, the observatory there. I had always thought, I mean, around the time of The Force Awakens, I really thought that Jakku was going to be more of a central to the plot. And there's a lot of evidence for that. Yeah, Flicktalk says, I really hope you're right about the Space Forge. It would make Canto Bight so much more relevant. Actually, I never even considered that, but you're right. It would actually contextualize that a bit more. Could the MacGuffin be the Journal of the Wills? Because we know that George said on the original script the story was told from the Journal of the Wills. I mean, potentially, but I think the Journal of the Wills and the will stuff is in those books. The ancient Jedi text. It's got to have some will stuff, man. Lost Stars by Claudia Gray has more info about Jakku. I don't remember that in Lost Stars. And I love me some Lost Stars. Lost Stars is terrific, but I don't particularly remember that section of it. Why are they telling us C-3PO has this important thing in his memories in the last movie? That's my impression of you right there, Kate. I don't know. How's that for an answer? I have no idea. George said the original Star Wars was being told through the droid's eyes. So I believe the droids, whether it's C-3PO or R2-D2, has more pertinent information than they realize. Definitely. Definitely. How are the streams on Twitch going? They're good. I mean, honestly, it's weird. Like the Twitch growth's really hard, but I haven't personally streamed on there. I didn't stream at all this week. Justin streamed a couple of times. I'm not sure. I think we got like 100. We got like 100 or so followers. We do decent congruent views on streams. I got some big plans coming for Twitch, but unfortunately, I can't enact them just yet. World Between Worlds could show Ben, his family, and their real history. It could. Sorry, Kate. Maybe R2 has more hidden holograms. Very possible. Dean, you can watch the replay, my friend. Derek Young, have I seen the video saying that Rey is a sleeper and secretly working for Snoke? I have not. I mean, it sounds interesting, but there's no way. No way. World Between Worlds is trash? What? What did you just say? How dare you? What do you predict for Hux's arc in Star Wars Episode 9? I'm not really sure, man. That one's a tough one for me. I mean, he's obviously like really power hungry. I'd love to see him be a lot more ruthless and start to see a real rift there between Kylo and him. Maybe different portions of the military like splitting off, having major conflict. That'd be really cool. Will more characters train to be Jedi at the end of the movie with Rey? Poe is force sensitive, and we have seen Finn with a lightsaber before. I mean, man, that's a tough question. I mean, obviously, that's what I want. That's what I want. And I do think in the original OG plot leak, it was said that there was actually going to be a lot more Jedi. We're going to get a time jump. And what's happening is Kylo Ren is hunting down force sensitives, and Rey is sort of allowing them to take refuge with her. And so if Kylo's like hunting them down and they're all trying to run and escape to Rey, then potentially they would already be grouped up together. They could train with her a little bit. That'd be so cool, man. I'd be into that. Stephanie says, I hope Maz has big role in Episode 9. Girls with Saber says Kylo isn't hunting him. He's saving them. Reverse Anakin theory. Hey, maybe. Or maybe he's cutting them up. Putting them on the grill. Kylo using Force Lightning would be very cool. I'd be into that. I mean, I'd be really into that. I hope they give him some new Force powers. Definitely. Definitely hope they give him some new Force powers. I think it makes a lot of sense. I hope 9 causes the hate from certain so-called fans to end. Yeah, I think we all hope that, right? I think we all hope that. I think Episode 9 is going to be amazing. Amazing. Let me ask you this, Cortex Zero, because you probably really like The Last Jedi, right? So just objectively, do you want Episode 9 to be better than The Last Jedi? Because I do. Josh, do you want Rey to have a moment she doubts the light and turns to the dark to see the consequences of that path? Do I want Rey to have a moment that she doubts the light and turns back to the dark? Huh. I don't know. I don't know how to answer that question, to be honest with you. I don't know. It's like maybe a little bit. I mean, that'd be kind of cool, right, for her to be sort of tempted. But I think ultimately, like if I'm just talking about myself as a fan, I really don't. I kind of want her to hold strong, and be that source of light. Like I think like Rey's whole thing here. Like I think Rey plays the important role with Kylo. Do you know what I mean? Like those two, their story is super intertwined. You know what I mean? So like for me, like I don't think it works. Like I don't think it works in the context that they're telling this story if Rey like teeters. You know what I mean? If Rey goes dark, I just don't think that like that could have happened in like the second one, I think. And some people might even argue that it did happen a little bit in the second one. I mean, she goes right for the dark. She goes, despite Luke wanting her not to, she goes to Ben. So maybe a little bit of that, but I don't know if I like need more of that. Do you know what I mean? Good for you, man. Cortex Zero, I see you, baby. I see you. That is the Jedi way. There's supposedly going to be a lot of prequel references in this movie, so a huge connection to Anakin in the prequels makes sense. Absolutely. Totally agree with that. Have you guys heard about this possible zero gravity lightsaber fight? That there might be a Star Wars fight with lightsabers in 0 Gs? Because, like, oh, man. They did that in Clone Wars back in the day, and it was ridiculously cool. Lightsaber battling in 0 Gs, that's hype. Seeing that on the big screen, oh my god. Oh my god. Cortex Zero, yeah, we just kind of talked about that a little bit, that she's a spy for the Sith. Yeah, no. I don't think so. Yeah, 0 G would be hype, right? Oh my goodness. That would be so cool. A spy for the Sith. No. But I do think Rey is a Force birth. I think she's either a Force birth or some kind of like clone or something. I think there's way more to Rey than we know even right now. And it could just be that she's a Kenobi, but it could also be like my thing right now, like what I'm leaning towards is that Rey was one of many potential Force births that sort of like when Palpatine was messing around with the midichlorians and attempting to create life, that one of the things he did was set out all these experiments, and then one of them on the observatory on Jakku just happened to manifest itself much later than the Anakin one, and that thing is Rey. Now, it's not exactly the hand theory. So what Hawks Holocron, what Scotty's referring to is the theory that they took Luke Skywalker's hand, which was going to be in the first shot of The Force Awakens, and that they cloned, a lot of people cloned Luke. And I do not believe that. The cave scene potentially hints at her being a clone. Yes. But that does not mean she is a clone of Luke Skywalker. Bruh. Girls with Sabers with the $5 super chat. Thank you so much. What types of content are you planning while you're at Celebration? Also, I just want to give more dollars. Thank you. You're amazing. So let me explain this. And I said this probably before you got in here, But I am actually really curious about what kind of content everybody else wants us to do. So I'm going there with 4 people. We're going to be able to split up into teams and do different things. We're going to cover stuff on the floor. I'm going to go interview people, hand out nerd cards on the floor, a lot of like the coverage we did for the Comic-Con in Philly. Definitely hitting the big panels. We'll do reaction videos to the panels. We'll probably do a lot of fan chat lives where, like, at the end of the day, we recap what was happening. We go live, and Al Schuler's going to be there. So, like, I'm so excited to be doing some content with Al Schuler. And a couple of my other good buddies that are going to be showing up more and more on the Den of Nerds. This is a great opportunity for us to get their faces out there. And so, but mostly, like, I want to know what everybody else thinks. So, does the lottery worry me? A little bit, especially because, like, I can't really say. Let me just say this. I can't say exactly how we got tickets, but it was not through the regular channels. Meaning, I don't have an account through the Celebration website through which I bought my tickets. Does that make sense? So I don't even know if I can do the lottery. I have to figure that out, actually. I'm going to send a couple emails to people at Reed Pop on Monday. But we got our tickets a different way. And, yeah, so the lottery thing kind of worries me. But at the end of the day, let me explain this, too. Nothing can be worse than the queue lines in Orlando. Nothing. That was awful. Awful. There's no other word for it. The queue lines in Orlando was awful. One of the worst experiences I've ever had at a Comic-Con. Juxtaposed against some of the best experiences I've ever had at a Comic-Con. But it doesn't, I mean, that's what happens to me in my soul when I think about those queue lines in Celebration Orlando. I just seize up like that. Ricardo, how you doing, my friend? Yeah, we're still live, baby. Doing this for about 15 more minutes. When the Force senses a shift in the balance, it respawns a birth. Sidious begins his rise. Anakin. Darth Vader and Luke rise. Rey. Yeah. We've talked a lot about that. I mean, that was a theory around 2015 when the movie first came out. Was like, what if we got like a Matrix type of thing going on here? Where every time the Matrix is out of balance, the Matrix introduces the one. And perhaps the one, or the chosen one, was something that reoccurred over and over again in the Star Wars universe. That could be. Could be. Pseudonymous being. I just tuned into whatever that noise was, and I was confused. Star Wars and Marvel take place in separate galaxies at different times, definitely. Ooh, I like that. The new flutist says, yes, Josh, that cave scene was her coming to a cross point of all her possibilities. Could be. Girls with Sabers, thank you so much. You guys should definitely check out Girls with Sabers if you have not. They do great content. They're going live later today as well. Can I just say, LOL, Den of Nerds deserves more subscribers. Thank you very much, Cortex Zero. I appreciate that. And we gonna get them. We gonna get them. So Rey is a clone of Luthien. I would say so. I remember when the Den of Nerds was only 30K. Yeah, definitely. It's crazy, right? What's the news about Vader? Here, I'll give you the very shortened version. Vader is confirmed to be in Star Wars Episode 9. Hayden Christensen came out on Twitter earlier today and said that he's actually the main villain in Star Wars Episode 9. It got deleted and stuff now, so people aren't, we're not supposed to talk about it. Disney will probably come after me for saying this, but Hayden Christensen's going to come back, and he literally manifests himself. Like, basically, Kylo Ren's going to bring him back to life. And he comes out of this like portal, and this is all confirmed. He comes out of this portal and he's jacked, like Arnold, like jacked, and naked. But he's got the Darth Vader helmet on. So he's like naked, but he's got the Darth Vader helmet on. He's just jacked. He's got 6 different lightsabers, all of them deep, deep dark red. Yeah, 3 arms on each side, kind of like Spider-Man in the comics when he busts out and has all those arms. You know what I mean? Oh, totally confirmed. Totally confirmed, by the way. Yeah. So that was the news. Yeah. Guys, I hope you know I was kidding there. Oh man. Obviously, that's not happening. That's not happening. No, but there's a lot of evidence to suggest that he will be back. Some legit evidence to suggest that he'll be coming back in Star Wars Episode 9. Ooh, that'd be kind of cool. The balance in the Force is the war between the Jedi and the Sith. It is the constant and never-ending shift of power that moves back and forth from one side to the other. The balance is the conflict. I love that idea, Dean, and I do agree with that, like in a lot of ways. You know what I mean? Ebb and flow, yin and yang. Oh, Cryro boy. Somebody should clip that and put it up as a video of me just saying that. Wouldn't that be hilarious? Crazy thumbnail. Crazy thumbnail with a jacked Vader. Knights of Ren are the new Sith, hoping to see some dope new characters. Me too. Me too. I really hope they are the new Sith. I think we need some new Sith. That would be a good Instagram video, actually. Like clipping that where I said all that. Maybe the Force wanted Darth Vader because the Jedi made the balance too close to the light. Definitely possible. Ooh, one step too far. I love that idea. He's back, and Hayden Christensen was the career best performance that Kevin Smith mentioned. Yo, wouldn't that be hype? Ooh. Ooh, baby. Worst who would copy that clip. Maybe. Hux saved Snoke? How do you do that? Will Carrie's character be like Boba Fett, a side character, but a really cool one? I hope she gets more than Boba Fett. I hope we get a little bit more than that. I mean, the character sounds really cool. I think the design of it's really cool. Carrie's a very physical actress. She just looks badass, man. I like characters like that. I like people that look badass. I mean, the reason that like Dolph Lundgren and certain other male actors work as action stars is because they look badass. Carrie Russell looks badass. So I want a little bit more. I want a little bit more than that. But here's my problem with that. Aldi Skywalker says, Anakin Skywalker will return in episode 9. He will not return as a Force ghost. He will return alive. Something really special is going to happen. Here's the thing. That's not the end of the Skywalker saga. Like, that's the opposite of the end of the Skywalker saga. So, unless they're completely lying about this end of the Skywalker saga, then no. Anakin is not coming back alive. John Boyega said it's going to be full-out war. So will this be, by far, the biggest Star Wars battle we're ever going to see in the history of Star Wars movies? I don't know. I don't know if it'll be the biggest battle ever. There's a lot of rumors of that, though. There's a lot of rumors that we're going to get this crazy epic and big battle, which we deserve, so hopefully. Yeah, Kate. Kate, you better charge up all your stuff before this week because we're live streaming a lot this week. Pariah Haven says, I think they are lying about the end of the Skywalker saga. Man, it's hard to say, right? I don't know. I don't know what to think about that. Yeah, but Hannah, here's the thing. So if Ben dies, but the Force child lives, and it's technically a child created from, you know, Rey and Ben, is that not a Skywalker still around? Is the bloodline not still there? You know? One step too far. Russell looks that way because of the Americans. Yes, and also Mission Impossible. But yes. Yeah, I mean, for sure. How long ago was Felicity? Everyone in the chat, don't believe everything Mike Zero says. I believe, I believe literally nothing that Mike Zero says. But doesn't mean he's always wrong. It's just he doesn't prioritize being right at all. Snoke is done. Snoke gone. I'm sorry to disappoint you, but Snoke is gone. That's fair, Hannah. That's totally fair. Totally fair. All right, guys, I'm going to do 2 more questions and I'm getting on out of here. Thanks for hanging out with me on this Star Wars Sunday. What about this? Will Anakin tell Kylo how to be evil, but really get him to join the light side? I think that a conversation with Anakin could be critical to getting Ben Solo to understand and turn back to the light side. Yes. So I'm all for that. Cortex says, I also think they are lying. It's a misdirect. Dude, people are going to be pissed. I'm sorry. But if they're straight up lying about that, like straight up lying about that, then people are going to be pissed. So it's like false advertising. It's like legitimately false advertising. The whole idea here is that they're trying to get some people maybe on the fence, maybe people that didn't like The Last Jedi, a lot of people that were like wishy-washy on Solo or didn't even go see it. They're trying to get butts into seats for Star Wars Episode 9. It is critical that they do that. The idea of ending the Skywalker saga seems on the surface to be a marketing ploy to add a whole bunch of relevance and contextual value to that film. If they sell that film based on that proposition and then don't have that in there, people will riot. I will riot. In fact, let me just say this right here. There are several ways that they could accomplish this, that end the Skywalker saga in Star Wars Episode 9. It does not necessarily mean kill everybody and it's over. There are ways that they could do it. But if they avoid it completely, if ending the Skywalker saga is not in Episode 9 at all, I will be pissed and I may even turn to the dark side and hate Lucasfilm and Disney. I will hate them. Yeah, I don't know if I'll actually do that, but I'll be pretty pissed. What's up, Yova? About to get out of here, actually, but thanks for popping in. Thanks for popping in. What phase? We need guys like Mike Zero to neutralize all the negative spreads by accounts like Geeks and Gamers. Actually, Yarwar, I kind of believe you. Like that's one of the only redeeming qualities of Mike, and something that I've said a lot is that at least this guy's focused on the positivities, focused on the speculation and all that stuff. But there's always a limit. Like there's balance and there's a limit, and Mike just doesn't understand the responsibility that he has by pumping all this stuff out there. I mean, he's literally like breaking the ability for people to get actual Star Wars information on the YouTube platform. And so multiple things can be true at once. Is Mike Zero, in my opinion, worlds better than people that just monetize off of like the hate? For sure. No question. But does that mean that Mike Zero is doing completely fine? He doesn't need to adjust what he's doing? No. No, no, no. Nope, no, no. No, 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 no. Starts writing his manifesto. That face was Kylo Ren. Yeah, that's my Kylo Ren impression. Hey, I'm the Supreme Leader. Yeah, he needs to just be more explicit with his disclaimers. Yeah, I mean that would be a good first step. Look at me, Hux. Look at me. I am the supreme leader now. All right, everybody, we're going to call it there. Thanks for hanging out with us here on this Star Wars Sunday. If you're watching this on the replay and you made it through this whole blabbering hour, God bless you. You guys are amazing. I'll talk to you real soon. And please let me know what kind of coverage you want us to do at Star Wars Celebration. Hit me with an email, tweet at me, get me on Instagram, comment on a video. Let me know what you want from us at Star Wars Celebration. I want to give you guys all the stuff that you want there, okay? As I always say, I hope you're having an awesome and a nerdy day, and I will see you in the next video.